Hey there Shredders, my name is Austin and I'm here today to bring you a review of my Ibanez AZ electric guitar. This guitar has been a mainstay of my collection since 2019 and it continues to be one of the primary instruments I use for teaching, casual play, practice, and of course content creation. In fact, if you look at the past videos on my channel, this is going to be one of the main guitars you see, and that's for a few reasons really. Number one, it looks great. Number two, it feels great. And number three, it sounds great. The versatility is off the charts and I can't wait to hopefully get that point across to you during this video. The Ibanez AZ is essentially a modern take on the classic double-cut super strat design that's been around for decades now. This particular model is the Ibanez Prestige 2402. The Prestige line is one of the highest quality instruments you can get from Ibanez, and they're made exclusively in Japan. This ranks above the mid-tier premium offerings and then the lower-tier AZ Essentials offerings. Before we get started with today's review, I'd like to give a quick thank you to all of my returning subscribers and viewers. I'd love to keep growing the channel and be able to do more reviews like this and hopefully get access to companies that will allow me to review their guitars for them. So if you're new here, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, like, drop a comment, stick around. I'd love to answer any questions you have about the instrument or maybe hear about your individual experiences. So thanks in advance. As a guitar player, at some point you've probably heard of Ibanez, but they actually have a long and deep history. Ibanez is a Japanese company owned by Hoshino Gaki, which also owns Tama Drums. Ibanez as we know it was founded back in 1957 in Nagoya, Japan, although the seeds for the business were planted as far back as 1908. The brand was actually named after a prominent Spanish luthier, Salvador Ibanez. The brand ranks third in terms of size compared to Gibson and Fender, and in fact, they got their start by making copies of those brands. However, they got into hot water with some serious lawsuits, so they began introducing their own original designs to the market. In today's world, they have a diverse product line of original string instruments and effects units. The brand is also known for its impressive lineup of signature artists, many of which are personal favorites of mine. I know I'm going to miss some here, but here's a few. Paul Gilbert, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Jake Bowen, Tim Henson, Scotty LePage, they all have current signature models with the brand. Tim Henson and Scotty LePage are actually the artists that opened my eyes to the Ibanez AZ and its capabilities. Here's a spoiler, my guitar happens to also be signed by Paul Gilbert. As we mentioned earlier, my particular example is part of the Prestige line from Ibanez, which are known for their higher quality, but they also carry a little bit higher price tag. My particular model cost me about $2,000 US back in 2019, and believe it or not, that is still what you can buy one for today, meaning that you're getting a better deal on it today due to inflation than I did back in 2019. I also went and checked out the Reverb used prices for you, and unfortunately they were still hovering in the $1,700 to $1,800 mark, typically plus shipping. So there's not a lot of value there in my opinion. I would rather pay the full price and get free shipping for a brand new guitar. Now here's the one problem. You're typically going to have to wait. When I bought mine, I had to wait 3 months and I went and checked and it looks like there's still some issues with them being back ordered. So it's just something to be aware of up front. Out of all the guitars I own, this one has the most specs to discuss, so let's get into it. To start, it is the ice blue metallic finish, which sadly no longer seems to be available. The current options I see on the website are tri-fade burst flat, pearl white flat, and black flat. I wish there were more colors available, to be honest with you, but there are artist models out there with some variation. I especially love the Martin Miller signature model, which is absolutely beautiful. My guitar has an alder body. It has a bolt-on S-Tech wood neck with a roasted maple fretboard and black inlays. S-Tech is a special roasted treatment that Ibanez offers that claims to increase the wood's stability, durability, water resistance, and tolerance to temperature changes, which from my experience is true. It has a 25.5-inch scale neck. It has 24 tall and wide jumbo stainless steel frets with their Prestige fret edge treatment. These are incredibly smooth and you don't notice them at all. It also has the oval C neck profile, which is often compared to Fender and Suhr necks. It is not like your typical Ibanez Wizard neck, so that's something to be aware of up front. It is a 12-inch fretboard radius, a super all-access neck joint, lumen lay side dot inlays, which are excellent for dark stages, a bone nut, Goto Magnum lock machine heads with height adjustable posts, Goto T1802 floating bridge with titanium saddles, a steel block, and 10.5mm string spacing. Rather than screwing in the tremolo arm, it just snaps into place, which I love. It also has Seymour Duncan Hyperion pickups with Alnico 5 magnets. I happen to replace mine with a set of bare knuckle pickup silos, but there's more on that later. It also has the Dynamix 10 5-way selector switch with a single volume pot and single tone pot. The stock toggle switch and knobs were replaced on mine to match the white bare knuckle pickups I installed. And the guitar also has an alter switch to allow for even more tone options as shown in the diagram. Grip volume and tone knobs too round out the entire package. Now that we've gotten through that lengthy spec list, let's get into my scoring matrix where I have started with awarding this guitar a 10 out of 10 for quality. Simply put, the quality on this instrument is impeccable. Every single detail appears to have had serious care put into its planning and implementation. I had one minor issue with the cut of the nut, which caused the G-string to pop out under aggressive bends, but over time, I guess the nut has maybe cut itself a little bit deeper from the G-string, and that actually doesn't happen anymore. It fixed itself. The craftsmanship of this instrument is almost insurmountable and is comparable with instruments in higher price tiers. I don't have a single criticism really to report here. As you could probably assume from the exhaustive spec list we covered, I have to give this guitar a perfect 10 out of 10 score for features. They continue to even push the envelope further with the new Tim Henson and Scotty LePage models, which feature a unique type of brand new Fishman Fluent signature pickups that offer even more tonal options than what my guitar has. The stock Seymour Duncan Hyperions are moderate output, and they were fantastic. They can actually be heard on several videos of my channel before I switched mine to the bare knuckle silos. The silos were a little bit thicker and warmer and just suited my style more, but the stock pickups can do anything from jazz to the heaviest of metal. It is quite simply the most versatile guitar I have ever played. I'm even a fan of the unique input jack found on this guitar, which allows your cable to go in at an angle and position nicely with your strap. Let's get into value next, where I've given this guitar a 9 out of 10. This guitar is an excellent value, especially given that the price tag remains at the same level it was over 4 years ago before the inflation we've experienced. However, some might be put off by the price tag. If you are a more value-focused buyer, please look into the Premium AZ to save some cash, although this will downgrade your quality, specs, and prestige a bit, pun intended. The Prestige model also comes with a hard shell case with your purchase, which happens to be one of the nicest cases on the market. They also include a nice Ibanez multi-tool, which is extremely handy for guitar maintenance on the fly. When it comes to aesthetics, I'm going to give this guitar a good rating at 8 out of 10. It is your typical Super Strat shape with a modern edge. It has a smoothed out version of their RG headstock with a gold logo similar to their vintage Roadstar series. I'm a fan of the typical RG headstock, but I am glad they went with this more vintage looking design instead. I think it fits the guitar better. The contours of the body are sleek and refined and remind me of an exotic sports car compared to the RG, which has more prominent edges. The dark roasted maple neck and fretboard provide needed contrast to the light blue body and silver hardware. I wasn't a fan of the stock black pickups and knobs though. I felt like the contrast was a little too strong for me, so I switched them to white, which I believe fits the aesthetics of the guitar more appropriately. The guitar is rather simple and it probably won't turn heads as much as an Ernie Ball, Music Man JP, or Majesty, but it still has a refined look that deserves a good rating. Now for our last criteria, playability, where I'm giving this guitar a 10 out of 10. In fact, if I could go beyond 10, I would. It is simply the most comfortable guitar I've ever played. The body contours feel nice while sitting or standing, the neck joint and cutout are smooth and provide great access to the upper frets, and the edges of the body are butter smooth as compared to the harsher edges found on my Ibanez RG. My example weighs in at 7.8 pounds and feels extremely light, which makes it great for extended play sessions, teaching, studio work, and stage performance. The thicker neck fits my hand perfectly, but I have a little bit larger hands than some. Some may want to avoid this if they prefer thin necks only, like your typical Ibanez Wizard. Here is the neck compared to my Ibanez RG, for example. The neck feels incredibly solid while maintaining a soft and smooth feel to the touch. The stainless steel frets are butter smooth and the bends have never felt better on any guitar. The guitar also stays in tune exceptionally well. After my initial setup 4 years ago, I haven't had to adjust the truss rod a single time, and I am not lying. The guitar has proven itself to be the most reliable instrument I own. Despite not having a locking system, the guitar stays in tune well and has a perfect balance of tension for light to moderate use. This does not replace a Floyd Rose though if you want to do more aggressive dive bombs. Those will typically throw this out of tune. Before we get to our conclusion today, let's first take the guitar for a play test where I'm going to plug it into my quad cortex and run it through the paces on a metal channel, a crunch channel, and a clean channel, just so you get an overall idea of the variety this guitar provides. You can also go through the various videos and shorts on my YouTube channel where this guitar has been used extensively. I just can't do a cover here in this video because I don't want the copyright gods to come get me. So thank you, let's check this out. As we conclude today's review, you'll see that my final total score is a 47 out of 50, which happens to be the highest score I've awarded a guitar so far on this channel. With the AZ, Ibanez have clearly proven themselves worthy of their status as a top guitar brand, and they have set a great example of the quality and features all guitar brands should strive for. If you are looking for a refined, workhorse, all-purpose guitar that is comfortable, durable, reliable, and easy on the eyes, this is the guitar for you. Be sure to check out the description because I put a couple links down there. One is to the Ibanez website if you'd like to check out more about the guitar, and then I also put a link to Reverb if you want to pick one up for yourself. If you do end up buying one, please drop a comment here and let me know what you think of it. Thanks for watching. Bye.